Well, welcome everybody. I hope your morning so far has gone well. We're glad to see so many friendly faces here and happy that you guys can make it, especially for those of you as you travel. We appreciate you coming. It should be a good conference. We're excited everyone is here. So like she said, I am Amanda Woolard Harvey. I just got married, so I'm sorry I kind of stutter when I say it. But I work here at Eastern Illinois University. I do health education and promotion on campus. I also teach adjunct in the Family and Consumer Sciences department. I got into the bystander concept and really enjoyed learning about it through a conference. We had gone up to Chicago for a health conference, and I sat in a session, and immediately I just really enjoyed the topic. It kind of hit home, and I thought if we could educate more students on our campus, we could really make a difference. Because as we will talk about today, bystander intervention is something we don't want just one person to do. We want everyone to do this. Okay, so it's something that we need to pass on to students, whether it is in grade school, middle school, high school, college. We are seeing bullying, and we are seeing other topics, which we'll again talk about, but we're seeing bullying at all levels, right? So bystander intervention can kind of assist with taking care of that, really helping, and even if we make a difference with just a few lives on campus, that will be huge, okay? So, I kind of want to know who's in the room, and we don't have to go around and do introductions, we don't have enough time for that. But do we have teachers, middle school teachers, high school, any middle school? Middle school, high school? High school? Okay. Middle school. Younger than middle? We had one small grade school, so that's where I do. Okay, and college. How many college professionals do we have in here? Okay. And then students? Okay, so what I will tell you for this presentation, this is the baseline of bystander intervention. This is basically talking about why it is so important for all of our different populations. It's not just for the college level, it's not just for the middle school, it is for everyone. It could even be effective in the workplace, okay? It is for everyone, it can touch everyone. So that's why it's so important. Today we're just going to do the baseline. There are a lot of different programs and trainings that will show how to effectively do the bystander intervention training. I've been trained as train-the-trainer in one program, but there are multiple programs out there that we'll talk about just a little bit at the end of this presentation, where you can go out, do your research for your school, and see what's going to fit. It's important to know that when you take a bystander presentation, you cannot just take exactly what they're giving you. You have to fit it into your population in your school, okay? So as you're doing your research, you want to look and see, what kind of population are they looking at? Are they looking at specific topics or more of a generalized form, okay? And we'll talk a little bit about that. What do you know about bystander intervention? Is this a new term for you? What do you know about it? You know about it. Anybody?
Well, I will say something I know about it. I think it's an opportunity to build on community building. I mean, in environments where there already is community building happening, this is, in my view anyway, this is a departure from the whole individualized notion that, you're responsible for yourself and no one else. It's kind of a sense that we all as a community have to be looking out for each other.
Great. Wonderful. Thank you. Anybody else? Has anybody been through trainings for bystander intervention? Valerie? Yeah. Anybody else? No? So it's fairly new? Do you feel like this concept is maybe being taught and not even realized? Kind of looking out for one another, but not necessarily in the form of a training, maybe? Okay. Do you feel that bystander intervention is important on all the levels? Yes? Okay, well that's good. I got some head nods there, so that's a good thing. It is important on all the levels, and I love that we have a variety of people in the room, because maybe we can get some people to kind of talk about their specific populations as we go on, okay? All right, so what we're going to do is a short activity that we do for all of our trainings when we have a typical step-up training, which I'll talk about, okay? So on this piece of paper, Don't write your name. Everybody has a pen, right? Don't write your name, but I want you to summarize a situation in which you wished you would have intervened. Just take a couple minutes and think about it. It could be anything. It could be anything. Where you wish you would have intervened.
I think you have one anyway.
I'm just gonna split it now.
Take a couple more minutes. Okay, is everybody ready? When you are done, crumble your piece of paper up into a ball. Gently, and when I work with SEC students, I have to really say gently. Toss your paper around and have a quick snowball fight. And then pick up a piece of paper.
People are too nice.
Maybe, yeah, there.
That was gentle, it just came down wrong. I promise.
Anybody else need one?
I'll just say mine. You want to take mine?
And usually what we joke about is, haha, yellow snow. You know, funny. I usually, I ran out of the real yellow, but you know, it's close enough. So. Okay, so who would like to share what they have written? Now remember, nobody knows what you wrote, so it's okay to share. There's no names on them. And even if you have your own, nobody's going to know that. Okay, so go ahead and share what, does anybody want to share? Volunteer, sure, okay.
I love reading. Some friends were gossiping and talking badly about someone we knew. I didn't intervene because I didn't know what exactly to say.
Okay, good, thank you. Anybody else?
My brothers were fighting and it was getting pretty heated. I didn't intervene because it happens all the time and I figured it was just another fight.
Okay, good, thank you. Tyler?
Seeing a car accident in real time because there were several cars around and I figured someone else would stop.
Good, thank you.
One colleague talked down to another colleague. It would have been an opportunity to stand up with her and face that person together.
Thank you. Yeah.
It says, a group of girls were picking on a girl with special needs, hair, clothes, way she talked. They were my friends and I didn't say anything.
Anything else want to share?
Sure.
A coworker was putting down the boss at work. It made me feel uncomfortable, but I didn't say anything. I did not intervene because I didn't want her to get angry with me. Also, I didn't want to contradict her in public.
Anybody else? Okay, we do this activity to start off with our students. And I like it because it shows the different levels of bystander intervention that could take place. This conference is focusing on bullying, and bystander intervention is a great tool to address that. The thing you need to remember is that there are different topics that you can focus on with bystander intervention. We do a general approach. So if I were to focus with you guys only on bullying, I would have asked, can you come up with a topic or a situation where you wish you would have intervened about a bullying situation, okay? And as you can see, there's already some that occurred. So bullying is a topic that obviously is hitting a lot of different areas. And with this training and this approach, it's a good way to start standing up for it, okay? So, we are going to go ahead and go through some of the bullying trainings and kind of give you the baseline of it. A bystander is somebody who witnesses a problem but does not do anything. That is a bystander. They don't do anything, it just happens. Now what I'm going to say is I'm not talking down about this person. Please do not feel that way. I've been this person. There's obviously others in the room that have been this person. Because I will tell you, I will be honest, and this is, I was scared. I didn't know what to do. I personally did not know what to do to help with a couple situations that I wish I would have helped in. Now that I've gone through this training, the step-up training is what I'm talking about when I'm saying our training. It gave me motivation because then I knew, okay, I know what to do. I know these 5 steps. I can be proactive. I'm not scared to do anything. And it doesn't have to be, and one of the situations that I was in was a fight that was taking place in front of me, a fist fight. And at the time I was scared, I didn't know what to do, I froze, I would have loved to just got in there and, well, that's not good, I shouldn't be doing that, they'd throw me across the room. So I was scared, I didn't know what to do, so I didn't do anything. Somebody got pretty injured right there in front of me. And now I know, well, I could have stepped off to the side, found help, or got on the phone and called 911. Now, I was also, in my mind, assuming, okay, there's other people around, so they'll do it. Well, why did I assume that? Because they're probably assuming that I'll do it, right? So you have to be the one to say, okay, let's do this, let's figure this out. And that's what this training is about. That's what we're trying to get individuals of all ages to understand, that you can do something, but you don't have to put yourself at risk. An active bystander is someone who witnesses a problem and reacts appropriately. Okay? And like I said, it can be on different levels. If you call 911, if you see a car accident and you say, okay, I'm going to call 911, but you're also the person that's out there keeping people off that are wanting to know what's going on. There's different levels of bystander. Do people intervene? We'd like to think so. And before I went through this training, I would have said, heck yeah, I would do something. And then it happens in front of me and nope, I froze, I didn't know what to do. So, research says people are less helpful in situations than they think they will be. A lot of research shows that. okay? And part of it is the social norms, part of it is just believing that other people will do it, not taking responsibility for what's happening in front of them. And it's not, like I said, it's not something bad, it's just something that we want to train on. It's an area that we can help with as educators. The reasons for them not necessarily stepping up could be individual characteristics, situational characteristics, and victim characteristics. Which one of those factors do you think happen the most? Why people do not step up? Individual characteristics, situational, or victim? Yeah.
Victim characteristics.
Not quite. It's actually situational. Because if you think about it, when people are around a large group of people, you would think, oh, that's a big group of people to do something. No. If an individual is by themselves, they are more likely to act. Multiple research studies have shown that, and looking at the situation, have most of you heard of the Kitty Genevieve's story? Where, what year was it? 1963, maybe? Kitty Genevieve was raped and beaten to death outside of her apartment. This is actually where the bystander concept, it had already been forming, but it really hit home here in the US. She was at the bottom of the stairs of her apartment, and there were 39 witnesses that did nothing. They heard her screaming. I would have showed the video, I'm sorry, I couldn't get it to load. But there were multiple witnesses watching this happen, and no one called 911 or anything. And she was outside of her apartment. So that is when the real research really hit home here in the United States and started developing the trainings and really coming up with an educational piece for it, okay? So barriers. There's all kinds of barriers, and actually in that activity that we just did, some people actually named them. I didn't know what to do. I was scared for myself. You know, they're out there, people know. Ambiguity, being understood in 2 or more different ways. So a great example of this is 2 individuals in a res hall arguing. Okay, they're yelling at each other, they're not getting along, something's going on. But we have bystanders saying, well, it's just a relationship problem. Or, well, they'll get over it. Seeing it in 2 different ways. Whereas an active bystander either needs to go get help if they don't feel comfortable with it, or go up and say, hey, what's going on? Let's calm down. I personally will tell you that for me, I feel more comfortable getting help. And it's always a good idea to get that backup. And that is what we tell our students. In the high schools and the middle schools, I would say the exact same thing. Get help before going up and actually trying to deal with something. Conformity. Having the same behavior as most other people in the group. Being able to be that person to step up to do something. And I keep referring to step up because that's the program we use, and I love that term, because stepping up and doing something. Don't just go with the group that says, well, it's probably a relationship problem. And that is one thing. When we do these trainings for our students and go over these barriers, it's just enlightening to them. Because they're like, yes, that was me. Yes, exactly. So just going over the barriers starts to get their wheels really turning. Pluralistic ignorance, assume nothing is wrong since no one else is concerned about it. Everybody else is walking by. There's another video out there, there's bystander stories all over the place if you just get on YouTube and look, there's all kinds. Another story, a 16-year-old girl was in a traffic jam on a bridge, New York or San Francisco maybe. She did not know a gentleman who came and pulled her out of her car and started beating on her. He was just angry, and they still don't know if he thought that he knew her or what happened. Started beating on her. It was a traffic jam, so there is numerous people seeing this. Nobody did anything. No one called the police. No one did anything. And the police station was at the other end of the bridge. And they had a huge news, it was not that long ago, It was all over the news. They ended up interviewing the bystanders, and they said, well, the majority of them said, well, it was probably a relationship fight. I'm not getting involved in that. It was a relationship. She ended up being beaten to death on the bridge in front of all those people. So, assuming that nothing is wrong, I mean, you can see it in two different angles. But what we are trying to say to all populations, do not just assume. Even if you call the police and say, I think there's a situation, and they come and there's not, they're going to be okay with that. We've talked to many police officers that say, yes, please call and just tell us, have us come and check it out. Diffusion of responsibility, more witnesses, less responsibility. The more people that are there, the less likely people are to step up, okay? And some people, and I've heard this multiple times in our trainings, our students are afraid of what comes after. You know, they are now a witness, and if this goes to court, or if this goes further, they have to spend all their time dealing with it. And what I address to them, and I understand that, I get that, and what I've talked to them about, is it worth, though, someone else's life? And I understand, and it is a hard concept to try and talk with them, because I get it, that's a lot of time, and if they were to go to court, they aren't necessarily a witness, yes. But it is a hard concept, so it's basically trying to figure out, okay, yeah, you might be a witness, but let's call for help. Let's get those police officers there. Let's get authority there, okay? So there is theory behind it, because we're educators, there's always theory, right? Of course. Theory of planned behavior looks at the attitudes and beliefs of an individual, looking at social norms, what behavior, what intention or the behavior that they are doing. So we look at the theory of planned behavior because it looks at the intentions directly, making that decision, making that quick decision depending on the situation. Now, I'm talking about some pretty serious situations here in the last few minutes. There's also not quiet, but not as extreme situations, okay? Maybe an offensive joke at the lunch table, okay? Maybe something like that, that as an active bystander, you could say, hey, that's not okay to say. You're hurting somebody. So there could be situations like that. So as I'm talking, I don't even think it's always the extreme. The theory of planned behavior is a model that's been used for predicting behavior and intentions in health education for a very long time. We look at this behavior specifically with like sexual health and the intent to use condoms. We look at it with alcohol. We've used this behavior quite a bit, or this theory quite a bit as we do health education, and it definitely links into this because of the intentions, okay? Social norms theories. Okay, so with bystander intervention, yes, we are training individuals in our sessions, but our goal is to train enough individuals that they continue to spread the word. With the Step Up program, we were trained as trainers, so we could train more people to go out and train in addition to keep adding, okay? So what we are trying to do is change the social norm of our environment, making bystander intervention something that everyone knows about, that is trying to make a difference across our entire campus. By doing so, it's not just this one-time presentation, okay? It's not just our Step Up training. It is constantly in their face, reminding them of those 5 steps. Working with our media, working with posters, maybe doing little tabling events or sessions in addition to the one training. Maybe doing follow-up emails. Media is a great way, media and technology are great ways to follow up. When you're looking at the middle schools and the high schools, maybe talking to the parents. They may not know about bystander intervention. Maybe following up with them and giving them some tips. It is constant, it's something that needs to be constant. We want to change our whole environment, so that's not going to happen with one training session, okay? Now, I will tell you that the training is impactful, the one that we chose, and the others are just, they're great, okay? So I'm not saying you have to go a step up. But they are very impactful when you get students in the room. They are kind of in awe by them, which it's fun for a presenter because they're just, really, oh my gosh, you know, and that's fun. So that's why we enjoy doing it. But when they walk out of that room, it may be impactful for that hour and then go into the next 24 hours and the next 48 hours. But we try to follow up with them. We try to get email addresses and at least shoot that email and say, hey, do you remember those 5 steps? Have you told anybody about those 5 steps? Okay. People act 80% of the time when alone and 20% of the time when others are present. And that's why it's so important to get everybody on board, to change the environment so people know, making it a norm, making it normal for people to step up and help out in problematic situations. So bystander intervention, it can be done on the individual level and the community level, and we just talked about that. On the individual level, it's one person stepping up, okay? But it kind of rolls into that community level when we start bringing in the social norming, when we start doing more things related to bystander intervention. So we're doing this training. We're reaching out to community members, okay? We are currently working on some bystander intervention work with a lot of different departments on campus. We are also on a task force that's working with community members and making them aware of it and hoping to get that more in our community. So it's not just our students, it's the community members. Now with the middle schools and the high schools, you know, that would be maybe the parents or the parents club, getting them on board. Okay, so they are able to help educate. So I've been talking about the 5 steps of intervention. These are the 5 steps that Step Up use. Now what I will tell you is that when looking at research, there may be 4 steps. What they've done is combine these 2 with the 4 steps. We use the 5. We like the 5. We feel like it really helps the students understand what to do. Now, are we expecting students to, okay, there's a fight going on in front of them, okay, step 1, step 2, step 3? No, obviously not, okay? But if they get the gist of it and kind of know, okay, I need to take responsibility of this. I need to figure out what I need to do, but I need to keep myself safe first. If they have the gist of it, then they should be okay. But these 5 steps are what we continuously push to them. And that's where the media and the social norming come in, is just reminding them of what's going on. That first step is it's not my favorite, but it's fun to talk about because everybody comes in and says, well, I know, I see things. Well, not necessarily. There's instances where, and this was one of the ones that the students were like, oh, I don't know what I would do. Say a student is walking out in the quad and all their papers go flying back behind them. And you are late for class and you have a test that day. What do? And they all just sit there like, oh, I don't know. And they're like, well, we noticed the event, but we really have to get to class, so we probably leave them. Okay, it's their huge 100-page paper that has to be turned in by the end of the day. What do? So it's basically kind of evaluating that and talking them through these steps of different situations. Noticing the event, you may not even notice a fight going on. You may be into your phone. You see everybody walking and texting all the time, you know, or on the phone, not even paying attention. We see that all the time. So you may not even notice if there's a fight going on or somebody fell down over here. So it's being in tune with the environment. Interpreting the event as a problem or an emergency. Is it a problem that doesn't necessarily need to be taken care of right here, but you want to take this person off to the side and say, hey, listen, this is probably not appropriate. Or is it an emergency where you need to get on the phone and dial 911? And that's kind of the different levels that we were talking about earlier. Assume responsibility. Don't assume everybody else is going to do it. You are taking the responsibility. You are the leader. If there's other leaders, great. You guys can work together. But you are the leader, and that is one thing that we want to push. Don't just assume. Know how to help and implement the help. And they do kind of go hand in hand, but we just want to identify that you need to know how to help. And that's really evaluating, is it safe for you, and who should you get involved? Okay? Effective bystander intervention. So basically, these are just concepts as to the effective intervention strategies, okay? And different trainings. So when you are out looking for a training that is appropriate for your school, your office, whatever it may be, you are looking for these areas to be addressed. Bystander strategies is part of a broader approach. And that is exactly what we just talked about. Getting the community involved, using media, making sure you're following up with these individuals who have been through the training, okay? Theory-based development, we love theory, we love it. So making sure that we are following the theory-based approaches, making sure that theory is involved and use those theories to your benefit. In our office, we love social learning. We love to try and figure out ways to really reach the students. And we've had professionals come in to help us with that and try to figure out what we need to do. Community engagement. It's always important to get the community involved. With Step Up, we had community members there as trainers, so they are able to train outside of the university and bringing in different populations through that. Gender-sensitive design, so making sure that you are thinking about the different areas that may affect the different genders. We'll talk here in a minute just about having a content-based program versus general program, okay? And really looking at the different gender and making sure that we are being appropriate on all those levels. Contextualized programming, comprehensive program development, making sure that you are reaching the correct populations, making sure your content is appropriate for what your goal is. I'm not going to sit here and assume because you're at the bullying conference you want a specific bystander bullying intervention. Because there may be different topics, and we know we have them, different topics on your campus or in your school that you want to address as well. Skilled and supportive program facilitators. Each training program will tell you something a little bit different. The approach that we have gone with is training our professionals at this point and our graduate assistants. We have quite a few professionals, quite a few graduate assistants, some community members that are professionals as well. We have them all trained, so they are ready to go. We have not necessarily gotten our peer education program involved at this point with doing the actual training. A lot of research has shown that using peer educators is very effective because you are not a professional standing up here preaching to them. It is someone talking to them as their peer. A lot of research has shown that this bystander intervention is really effective with peer educators. So using those peer leaders to get out there and really hit home. Now, we have done outreach with some of our peer educators, so they may do a tabling event to be able to answer questions. Or they may go to a class and just kind of give an overview of it, but they are not doing the actual training. So you can utilize a lot of people to get this out there. And always incorporate an evaluation. It's kind of like the theory. You have to have evaluation. Love evaluations as well. But my boss is very big into theory and evaluation, so we have it in everything. Content versus general programs. So our Step Up program is a generalized program, okay? And the reason we went with Step Up is because it was general. We want to address alcohol poisoning, sexual assault, bullying, what were the others? Oh, we have even eating disorders, civility. I mean, we have a variety of topics that we want to be able to really get out there. So even when we're doing the training, we talk about different occurrences that could happen, okay? Now, there are a lot of different trainings out there specifically focusing on different areas. And at the back of the PowerPoint, you'll see some of those. There are quite a few on sexual violence and sexual assault. There are some on alcohol poisoning. A lot of them are on sexual assault. We have quite a few on violence and domestic violence in general. So that's what I was talking about at the beginning of this presentation, is what you want to do is look into them and see what is good for your environment, okay? Look at your population and see what you want to do. We had a committee come together and talk about, okay, content versus general, what do we do? And I mean, it was quite a conversation because the evidence-based programs are more likely seen in content-based programs. The generalized programs are more difficult to evaluate because you are talking about many different topics. So if you have one area of focus and you only want to focus on that, then sure, you can pull from one training. The other thing is, with the generalized, since it was so general, we could plug in whatever topic we wanted. If you get one of these trainings that are focusing on one, you can kind of figure out how to change it around a little bit, but it is pretty focused with their information, their statistics, and their data, okay? Does that make sense? Content versus general. Content is more evidence-based, where the general isn't necessarily. There are evaluations in the making. I know the Bacchus Network, who has been working with Step Up with the University of Arizona. They actually started it. They have been working on trying to develop a strong evaluation to make it evidence-based. Okay. Any questions on that? Does anybody feel like, yeah?
Well, I'm just wondering, as you're talking about this, you
Yeah.
know, because it would seem to me like if you chose to use a specific content-related bully or a bystander intervention program, and you implemented it in your school, and let's say that it was focused around the topic of bullying.
Yeah.
I wonder if you get anecdotal information from the people who've gone through the training that they not only applied it in bullying situations, but that they applied it in other arenas too. Are you, you know, do you think you're hearing that? I mean, that would make sense to me. But
Yeah. And I know SEPA, or the Bacchus Network has been trying to do that, to try and see with the difference. And that's kind of why they went with more of the general. I think Green Dot maybe was attempting that, but I'm not positive on that, or where they stand. But yeah, that would make sense. So hopefully in the near future we'll have
so
more.
the gist of that would be that if you chose to use a specific content, you could see
Yes.
see positive effects all across
Yeah,
the board.
exactly. Yeah. Now, what do you guys think, to take back to your school, do you feel more content-based or general? Or do you just need time to think about it and do a little research on the specific trainings? Does anybody feel one way or the other, or no?
I would say general.
General.
Because there are a lot of different areas, you know, and if you kept it more open, then you'd have more people willing to be involved because they could come out from different directions.
Right. And I do know universities have, if they have a situation going on or something specific that they really need to get under control, they may go for more content-based. But what we have seen from a lot of our peers is that they're using the Step Up or general. Okay. Here are some bystander trainings for you to take a look at. Like I said, I am not pushing Step Up. I don't work for them, but I do love the program. It's a really good program for our audience. I think it would be fantastic for younger students as well. I was around a lot of younger students growing up, and I just think that this concept they would have really grasped and it would have made a little bit of a difference. So I think that this is kind of something for you to take a look at, see which one you feel comfortable with. If you have specific questions on Step Up, you can talk to me about it. I was trained as a trainer for the Step Up program, so I can kind of help you with that and get you in contact with the correct person. Social marketing campaigns. We actually have used the Red Flag campaign here on campus. We bought into that and got, they send you posters and DVDs and that was full of PSAs and stories and all kinds of stuff. But they send you all that. They send you all the materials. It is all laid out for you. So that is something to definitely look into. We had a really good response with that. I can't tell you how many students came up and said something about that Red Flag campaign. Like we talked about earlier, we didn't just use the Red Flag campaign. We kind of made our own as well in addition to. We know it gets costly, so we have to watch our costs just like everyone else. So we started to make our own and kind of work off of that. And then Know Your Power campaign, same thing. You can buy into that and go with that. And those are all the resources to take a look at. Questions or comments? Yes, Megan.
I was just wondering, just in the research that you've done for the content base, have you ever seen any bystander training for more like mental health issues? Because I feel like that's something that we have a lot of issues with. Is like especially I work on a campus, and like a roommate will tell us, like somebody has like a psychotic break basically, and a roommate will come later and say, oh yeah, well it's been, you know, this has been happening, and floor mates are so close, and so I'm wondering about mental health specifically, if there's any.
Specifically, none is coming to mind.
I mean, I'm sure the general training would probably could get on that,
exactly, it could, but that would be interesting to look at the development of specific training for that, because I'm sure there's other issues.
Yeah.
Within schools that would benefit that, but yeah.
Okay.
Contact me and I'll look into that. I have some stuff already and I may have something.
Yeah, that would be good.
Thank you. Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I know Eric is on our suicide prevention alliance.
Yeah.
He's brought the bystander approach.
Yeah.
These ones.
Yeah.
Not where an actual
Yeah,
program, but maybe
Yeah.
more of a general approach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. I want to look into that, so I'll look into just some of that stuff.
Okay.
Any other questions? If you have anything, come on up after. Thank you guys for coming. It's good to see everybody here, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.